All right, Pete, you're on.
Okay. Okay, welcome everybody to our town hall. And this is going to be a busy 2 weeks coming. We are getting ready to do our championship the following week. So it's 2 big weeks, and we're really excited to see what's going to be unfolding in the next 2 weeks. So with that, I guess we'll start our presentation.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and share with everybody. Give me a second here. All right. Okay, so everybody should be all set. And welcome to our town hall about this year's championships, which are being held at the RWJ Barnabas Health Arena in Toms River, New Jersey. All right, here are the things that we're going to go over today. We're going to go over the division splits, make sure everybody understands the how and the why for that. We'll go over ticketing yearbook pre-sales. We'll review our flow with maps and pictures, go over rehearsal space and some nearby entertainment and restaurants, etc. And then, of course, we have time for questions and answers. Let me go back. All right. So the first thing should be about our division splits, but do we not have a slide for that, or is that out of order?
I think it's out of order.
Okay, so we'll just jump around. There it is. Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
So we've been getting a lot of questions from people about the division splits that we have, Denison and Weir divisions. I'm Lauren, by the way. Hi, should introduce myself. So we just wanted to briefly review what that is. And the main question we've been getting is, what's the difference between Weir and Denison? And the answer is there's no difference. It's just names that we gave the divisions that started long before we were on the board, actually. So this has some information. If you go to our wonderful rule book that is at mainguards.com under resources, you can read all about it. And here are some of the relevant rules. So you might remember from our last spring meeting in July, we changed the rule that if a class has 18 or more units competing at championships, that class will be split into 2 divisions for championships. It used to be 20. So it used to be 20 or more units. And now starting in 2023, it's 18 or more. So this year that affects 3 divisions. It affects the Scholastic Novice division that has 23. It affects Scholastic AA, which has 18, and it affects Scholastic A, which has 22. So those 3 divisions split into Weir and Denison. The next bullet point just kind of tells you how we split them. So basically you get an adjusted score. Your adjusted score is your last week out plus weeks till championships, because that way it gives you kind of an average of growth leading up to championships. We take that adjusted score and then we split every other unit into different divisions. So in other words, the unit who has the highest adjusted score goes into the Denison division. The unit with the second highest adjusted score goes into the Weir division, on and on down the ranks until you get to all the odds in one division, all the evens in one division. There is an exception this year. The 23rd place team did end up in the Weir division rather than a Denison division, only because of a scheduling issue, but we needed 12 in the first block and 11 in the second. So there was that. It's all the evens and then also number 23 first block. That last bullet just explains how we do that with how we get to the adjusted score. Adding 1.5 till the end, as I mentioned. And then for your question about bonus points that people have been asking, well, why aren't the bonus points counted? The bonus points are counted after all of this. So first we split the divisions to try to make it as even as we can. Then the bonus points get added. So that's why on that seating document that we sent out, you might notice that the number 1 ranked team isn't going on last in the class in that division because somebody else had more bonus points. So they're performing later. So that's what all those fun columns mean. And everybody's got access to that spreadsheet because we believe in transparency and getting rid of any questions that people might have about anything that might be wonky and putting it all out there. Everybody can see the formulas just like we can. And if you have any other questions, you can definitely reach out. But there is a lot of info in the rule book about that. And there's a pretty appendix at the end too that demonstrates how all that happens.
All right. So let's back up a little bit. So the next thing we want to talk about, and you've probably seen this information, it's also going to be coming in this week's MailChimp email, and it's going to be posted on the web. We'll throw it on Facebook and Insta as well. And that is pre-sale. We have a pre-sale for both tickets and for the yearbook. Now, for tickets, you want to encourage your students, families, or anybody coming to buy the tickets in advance. It is a cashless box office. In other words, even if they want to buy tickets on the day of the event, they cannot use cash. And this will save them so much time and also make everything smoother at the box office, because if they buy their ticket in advance, then they have the code, that code gets scanned, and then at the box office, they're just getting their wristband. So anything we can do to encourage people to buy tickets ahead of time, that would be really helpful for everybody. And if you go to the link, and by the way, the tickets are in, if I go to a new tab, do you guys still see it? Let me see, escape. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Let me get the ticket link on here. I don't know why that link didn't work. There we go. All right, let me try again. There we are. Okay, so if you go to this link, you'll see that the prices are kind of weird, and that's all has to do with the credit card fees and the other fees. And so that's why the amounts are these strange amounts. But there's the weekend combo pass that's good for both days. And then your Saturday only pass or your Sunday only pass. Okay. And these tickets are the same price for everybody, except children 5 and under are admitted for free. But other than that, that's the ticket price. All right. So let me hopefully get pause again. Sorry about that. Let me get back to the slideshow. For some reason, when I went to do the link, it closed the slideshow. Give me a second. Talk amongst yourselves.
While she's doing, I'll mention.
So
you put
sorry.
Information. Make sure that they know if they buy a combo ticket to leave their wristband on and not remove it,
Yes.
because they will not get a new wristband. Your code can only be scanned once, so they won't get a new wristband on Sunday if they.
Yeah. That's a real good point. Thank you so much. All right. Let me try this now. Okay. Okay, good. Sorry about that. All right. So yearbook, just so everybody remembers that we had our yearbook pages due a little while ago, and those go into our 2023 yearbook. This is where you can buy your own yearbook or buy your copy of the yearbook. You just click here and then you can go pick it up at the table at championships. You can also buy them that day, but this will help guarantee that, you know, we don't sell out and you can't get a copy. So you definitely want to do that ahead of time as well. And those links are here. They're going to be in all the communication sent out in the director's email, everything coming out. So you want to try to get all that ahead of time.
In fact, they were sent out about 30 minutes ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're in that director's packet. And so you have all that for students or performers or spectators or fans or whoever.
All right. So like Lauren said, these all just came out. And you're going to find these in multiple places. Let's take a look at some of the maps of the facility. These are the outdoor maps. Okay. And you can, if you can actually look at them right now, they're in your director's packet links in that email that just came out. So you can see where we're coming in. We have separate parking for spectators. And we have here, if whoever that is, if you could mute,
Oh, that's good.
I can't tell who that is. So
Okay.
this is
I got it.
pretty self-explanatory.
Uh-huh.
Notice that there is
Back in the car again.
an area to reload after the show. We'll look at that a little more closely with the unloading and loading on the inside maps. After the show, there's a way to move. There's arrows to move for the buses and trailers to park. There's spectator parking. So this first map just goes over everything that you need for your members and trucks and props. The second map is going to show your people that like independent guards that are traveling with everybody by car. Okay, so that has the information on where they will park. And same thing with any trucks and props. And then the third map is focusing on spectators. So this is all information that you can share with the people who drive your buses and your trucks and any of your families that are coming. Then we have our interior maps. Let me zoom in on these. All right, so this is just an overflow or an overview map of where everything is. We basically, most of the stuff we do pre-show is all going to be at like the older building. So we'll have unit check-in. Down here in these hallways is where we'll have your personal storage. So your group will just have a sign and some space, for their personal storage. When you unload your props, you're going to unload here, and then we have prop storage here. We also have a space if we run out of room, depending on the day and how many groups we have in that section of the schedule. And so basically you just bring your props down and they can just go right here. When it's time for warm up, you'll start in your body warm up. You go to equipment warm up. You'll have to backtrack a little bit to go get your props. And then you head into the new building where we have the gym. Notice it's a horizontal timeline from back to front. Following the performance, we do have a floor refolding area. I'll show you that up close in a minute. And then you exit to the outside, and we will have a tent there in case of inclement weather. And then you can reload your props and everything. And then right where at the end of the building where our personal storage is, that's where you'll re-enter. Okay, the other map basically takes you through the flow of when you perform. So it's the same idea of you start at body warm up, go to equipment warm up, pick up your props, travel to the gymnasium horizontal timing line, floor refolding, exit back to the parking lot, come back in.
Michelle, can I interject with one
Yeah.
thing? For those that have never done a horizontal floor,
Yes.
I know we have done tape marks on our sides to make sure it's on our cart, and it makes it a lot easier when you're folding it. So your first time doing a horizontal fold sometimes is a little bit challenging. But it takes
absolutely
a little practice, but it's doable, and it works perfectly for the flow.
I absolutely recommend in your last practice or two to do horizontal fold. One of the things that I find, we're so used to the side to side is when we're centering our floor, like Pete said, have some marks, put a tape mark for the center that you can see when the floor is folded, because when you're lining it up, you want to be able to line that up and even before you pull it out. So you're lining it up correctly, left, right. So we have like a tape mark on both edges. So no matter how the fold turns out, because we needed it on one side this past weekend when we did the Garnet Valley show, which is also horizontal. And then this one's a little different. And please, you guys, every time there's a show, it seems, where there's a horizontal fold, there's somebody that's like, oh, no, I'm just going to do my thing. You don't want to have a timing penalty at championships. You don't want that. So take the time now, your last couple practices, practice coming onto the floor this way. Sorry. And making sure that your students are prepared for it, so they're not, it's not surprising to them, so that nobody panics. All right, so let me come back to our champs. Oops. Okay, so we also have a slideshow, and again, all these links are on the thing sent to you today. They just have some pictures. Thank you, Matt Hurley, posing, just so you can get a better idea of what things are going to look like when we're there. One thing we do have, that you actually kind of go backwards a little bit to after equipment warm up to go pick up your props on floors. Now that's if all your members have to, if you have parents or somebody, volunteers that can pull them out while your members are in equipment warm up, that's fine. This door, these are the measurements for the door that are coming from this area to the other area. And we will work with anybody that has a situation with a prop that we need to come up with something alternative. We can talk about that with those individual groups.
And
if you,
just to interject really
Yeah.
quick, I put in the packet, if you have a concern about that at all, we ask that you look at the pictures and watch the walkthrough video. And if you still have a concern, email us no later than 5 days in advance of the event.
Yeah.
Because we need some time to be able to coordinate everything and make sure there is directly across, actually looking at those doors where Pete is modeling the height. Looking at those doors, I'm actually standing at a set of doors that comes from the outside. So if we need to, we could go straight in from there. If there's a corner concern, or if there's a different concern, we can talk about that if you email us in advance.
and then once we're in the arena, there's the door that takes you to the arena. This is our performance space. Our spectators are on this side. That's a close up of the spectator side. There is a garage door that we can go to the outside. And like I said, we'll have a tent here. So there's a couple other pictures there. I won't show you the walkthrough video, but please look at that on your own. That'll help kind of show you how the flow goes, and just kind of put a little image with the pictures and with the maps. And then this is something that we're going to have, if you can imagine, like right along here, there's going to be a curtain. So when you exit your performance space, this space will be available for floor folding. All right. So I think that's it for show flow and everything. And again, like Lauren said, all this stuff got sent out. Please look at it, study it, and reach out as soon as you can. If you're looking at it and if you have a question or you're afraid something's not going to work for a prop or something you have, the sooner you can reach out, the better. And again, use, like we've been saying, a lot of times we get individual Facebook messages or individual texts. And when you do that, there's a danger that it gets like lost in the shuffle. So please, anything that's important like that, make sure it goes to the main email account.
Just a quick note on that floor folding space too. We're asking that you make sure your kids wear shoes through rotation, because this space, it's only about 20 feet wide, maybe 18 feet wide. And so that's the space where you can take your floor off, you can set it down, your kids can put their shoes on. They will not be returning to their personal storage area before they go outside. So that's why it's important they have their shoes right there. They can throw their shoes on. If your floor is folded nicely enough, you can put it on your cart there. Otherwise, take it out. You get to fold it outside in the beautiful weather that we've ordered for the day.
We have ordered 70 degrees and sunny. That is on order.
Yes, we placed our order.
We shall see. All right. Next, Sharon, you're up.
Sure. I actually had one question about the
Oh, yeah.
floor refolding area before we just go on. Is that an area just to basically straighten out your floor, basically like lengthwise, and then putting it on the cart? Because I'm imagining if there's only a curtain between that area and the performance area, that you're going to need to kind of do that only while the next group is setting up, and then, because you really can't make a lot of noise.
Yeah,
Pretty
I
much.
would think so.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
So
So
just a
means
little,
that, like,
a little
stress test.
stopover before going outside.
exactly. And you
Okay.
might not even need it. Like I've been trying to envision this and it might be easier to just keep going. You
Yeah.
kind of have to just see how it goes. But at the very least, you could put the equipment down there and have
And just
kid-
have like a minute or two, like
yeah, just a second before you have to go outside.
Right.
Okay.
Hey, guys,
And-
I have a quick question. This is
Yeah.
Woody. Will we have access to, say, the warm-up gyms after the last competing group has been through them? The reason I'm asking is because for most of us, this is our last time on the floor for the season. So we want to make sure we get a decent fold. And we're wondering like why like, the timelines between why people are warming, like, when the world teams are finishing up, if that'll be open for people to run in and just get a better fold on their floor.
So we are using that for lineup for retreat.
Oh,
So
gotcha.
we can't have people go in there between because it'll be lineup for retreat and then it'll be starting for the next awards or starting for the next block of teams, except for Sunday
Then-
night.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I will say also, no one can leave anything at the arena. We had a major issue last year where literally someone left a floor.
Yeah.
Like they were done with it and we got fined for that.
They just didn't want
So-
it anymore?
Yeah, I guess so. So it's important that we take all of our toys home with us.
Okay, we will.
But again,
No, you
Woody,
will.
we ordered 70 degrees, no wind.
So we can fold it outside. That would be
Yeah.
perfect. If
Yeah.
we get what we ordered.
Yeah. If we get what we ordered. So hopefully.
Yeah. And I know sometimes there have been requests from, groups that have two color guards, like a JV and a varsity, that they use the same floor for both, that they may need to refold it, but, we'll just take any of those requests as they come if there's an opportunity for them to refold it somehow or,
During a break.
that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're in this situation, that's just email about that so that we're aware of it and then we can make something happen. I honestly can't think of anybody that's in this situation this year, but I don't know everybody's. So
There's a few.
there's
Yeah.
a few. Okay. All right, cool. If we're good, we'll go on. All right, Sharon, you're
Sure.
up for real.
So, if you have a chance, this is just, other options for food or something to do. If you feel like, your team, may perform early and not have an awards for till later, or, needs to do something for, a couple hours or something, that the mall is only about 6 minutes away. There's a bunch of restaurants at the mall, as well as I think there's a small food court there, but I think there's a few things inside the mall as well. Or you can go take a little further drive, just to the shore. So it is close to beaches, boardwalk, things like that. If you have the time and you want to, maybe your awards is earlier and, you want to do something after, or you get there earlier or whatever, just to, give some options, for other things to do in the area.
That's something that we used to do for the Monmouth Regional, and the kids
Yeah.
really loved it, going down to the ocean.
That's cool. All right. So the next thing, it's not on a slide, but before we hit questions, Matt, if you want to just catch us up on rehearsal spaces. Is Matt here? Do we lose him?
I am. I just had to unmute. Hi, everybody.
I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing. Hi.
So I'm just, so far, here's who I have. Saturday, I have Fred S. Engel, North Penn, Holland Middle School, Hunterdon Central, and Garnet Valley. Sunday, I have Verona, Avongrove, Westfield, Pegasus 2, Mainline, Field of View, and Council Rock. That's who I have who had requested rehearsal. I will do my best. I will get the rehearsal address. It's the same for everybody. Posted on the group tomorrow. And I will do my best to also get times out tomorrow before I go ahead and leave for date. So the rehearsal is literally 7 minutes away from the show. So it is a shared rehearsal space. And you will get an email, and all of the cost for that is payable at check-in. You can either pay cash, check, but it does have to be paid in at check-in, or else you will not be able to perform if that's not taken care of. So you will get, everybody will get invoices, everybody will get their times, and I will post the location of rehearsal on the Facebook group probably momentarily. I do have some time available on Saturday and early Sunday morning if anyone finds themselves in a bind. But that's what I have so far.
Awesome. All
Any
right.
questions? Great.
All right. So I guess if there's nothing else from the rest of the board, we should open it up to questions.
I would
Peter,
just
you
like
had
to say one thing. Special thank you for those that helped out with the merchandising committee. I know we didn't have a chance because of the time frame to have more meetings. However, Anthony DiMarino did a fantastic job on finalizing the design for the t-shirt, sweatshirt, and the patch. So just want to say kudos to him, and also thank you to Tori and Jill and anybody else that contributed to that, our first couple of meetings.
Yeah, it looks great.
I just have a quick question about the on-off.
Mhm.
Most of our props are in the back of the floor, so we'll be having to get them to the front. Is the front penalty line still in effect during on-off, or just during the performance, in case there's like an overflow of trying to get out of the way of the floor folding?
The front and back boundaries.
Yeah,
So those are, and actually there's going to be a side boundary as well at this event because there are bleachers on the side that we're using. They are in effect during the performance, but not during the transition to get on and off, obviously, because you gotta, you're coming in from an outside door to go in. Once that announcement is made, that's when that boundary basically goes into effect. So it's really important when we enter the floor that we're talking to the TMP judge, like as a director, they will make it automatically at 90 seconds if we don't tell them not to. And then if you have like parents out there setting up, you just got a penalty for members being on, or people who are not eligible to be in your color guard. I don't even know what that penalty is without looking if it's something nasty, but so make sure you're talking to the TMP judge about when you want the announcement to happen so that doesn't happen prematurely.
thank you.
Does anybody
Um,
else have any? Go ahead.
I'm just going to mention, it's in the packet, but I know I just sent it, so you just got it and you haven't had a chance to look. The box office is cashless, but the concessions, most of them, I believe, do take cash and credit cards. So if your performers are bringing cash, they should be able to buy like food. And there's a couple of, so they have like a big concession stand, and then they have a couple of little like vendor booths, like Jersey Mike subs, and they've got Maui Wowie smoothies, and they've got Dippin' Dots. So there's a couple other little like stands. I think Pepware is cashless. So, if they're going to want to buy a t-shirt or something, sometimes it's nice to have like mom and dad give them a prepaid credit card if they're going to buy a t-shirt, a sweatshirt, all that stuff. Just something to think about, even though the concessions are cash or credit.
Yeah,
Is it 2 front sideline wristbands and 8 back, or?
Yes. Yes. And it's also, we should mention, this is in the packet as well, and it's also in the spectator information. The spectator entrance is also in the back. So the performers enter, if you're sitting in the stands looking at the floor, the performers are entering at the back left and the spectators are entering at the back right. So we put in the spectator information that the doors are going to close a little bit earlier than we might be used to for spectators, because they've got to get all the way to the front of the gym and then go find a seat. So they definitely want to try to be getting into the gym to watch your team earlier than they're used to, because they could get locked out. I just saw a question in the chat. Can members buy front sideline tickets after they perform to watch the rest of the show? Yeah, of course. If your members want to sit in the front, they absolutely can buy a ticket and then sit in the front. It is important to note that your performer wristband and your 8 backside wristbands, they will not allow you front side seating. Last year we had some people saying, oh, I'm not a performer, I'm allowed to sit in the front because I performed earlier. So I'm no longer a performer, and I had to explain that unless you have a certain color wristband, you're not allowed to sit in the front. Performer wristbands are good all day. Performer wristbands are good all weekend. So the performers can, let's say you're performing Sunday and you want to come Saturday, you can pick up your packet early. You just email us at maincolorguards@gmail.com. If you are in SAA, as the question says, you can stay all day. If you are performing on Saturday and you're coming back Sunday, those wristbands, tell them to keep them attached to their wrist. They're good for both days. Good question. Any other? You can unmute or just type them into the chat, whatever you like.
Side to side. Side to side with boundary side.
Side to side is 103. I believe. Off the top of my head, I think it's 103. Somebody just said something in the chat. Let me check. Front side wristbands for directors. So each unit receives 2 front side wristbands and 8 back side. So those front side allow you to sit on the front side for both days. Yes, for both days. Yep. It's going to be the same as the spectator combo wristbands, basically. If you are in the boat of wanting to pick up your wristbands early, basically all you're getting at check-in is your wristbands. We're going to have all the maps and everything laid out on the unit check-in table, and then we're going to suggest that you just take a screenshot of everything, or a picture of everything on your phone if you haven't screenshotted stuff. So we're not going to hand you maps and hand you a schedule. We'll just have them there and you can take a picture with your phone. If you do want to pick up your wristbands early, just make sure you email us so that we can put you on the list, because stuffing 118 packets is a lot of work. So they might be doing that during the day. So we want to make sure they're ready for you. Is it possible to arrive earlier? It is absolutely possible to arrive earlier. We just ask that you email us so that we can make arrangements for that. If you're arriving early, we might have you unload your props into the prop overflow area. Or we might just say, come back at XYZ time to unload if it's like 6 hours early or something like that. But if it's only say an hour early, yeah, we'd probably just have you unload, go to the prop storage overflow. Perfect. Good question. And if you're staying late, just make sure, most people are staying till the end of at least till the end of their awards. It is a full retreat. There is a list of retreat restrictions to make sure that you take a look at. Don't be bringing anything that's restricted on that list, because we won't let you bring it in. Try to be mindful of the fact that there's 4 award ceremonies. So we ask that you don't bring anything messy, because we have to clean it up after each award ceremony to make sure that the floor is clear for the next performances. So like no confetti cannons or anything like that. Yeah, make sure that you review that list. If you're staying late, that's totally fine. You just have to make sure all of your props and floors are loaded within 60 minutes. make sure your personal storage area is clear as well. You can't just hang out there. It's not home base for you all day. We've got to rotate that space over for another unit. Anybody else have any other questions? You can unmute too.
Hey, Lauren, I just had a quick question. We're kind of new to Maine. The split classes, is that something that we as a group control? Could we vote against that next year? Like, is that something that we can have a vote on as we go forward, or is it something that's in our bylaws forever?
Well, anything, even a bylaw can be changed. So actually, and that was, as I mentioned earlier, that's something that we literally just voted on changing this past spring.
Okay.
It used to be 20 teams, now it's 18. Anything is able to be changed in that rule book as long as it's at the spring meeting. So proposals are due 2 weeks prior to the spring meeting. I think it's 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks prior.
Yeah.
We have not put the proposal document out yet. We will not do that until much later.
Okay.
But yeah, keep it in mind if there's something, if there's anything that you want changed, you can always put forth a rule proposal.
Okay, thanks.
To be clear, the classes used to split at 20 units per class. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And
Can you guys hear him?
Mhm.
All right, okay, so I appreciate that. So this year, the membership voted to change that to 18. Is that correct?
Correct.
Very good. Appreciate it. Can I just say something?
I am live.
Okay, not a question. I just want to thank the board and especially Matt for offering, first of all, for all of the efforts it took to make this happen. We have a great venue and it's going to be very exciting. A wonderful culminating experience for all our teams. And I also want to thank you guys for offering us rehearsal space for those of us that have to travel just a little bit. Not every local circuit makes that available, and it's just really awesome, that Maine is offering that. And special thanks to Matt for making that happen. So thank you all.
Yay. Someone texted a question.
Oh, there's a new one. Are the divisions broken down through awards as well as in novices announced as 2 different classes?
Yes. There are 2 different panels of judges. So it is its own separate entity from the other. So Scholastic Novice Weir literally has a different panel, I believe, than Scholastic Novice Denniston. Same thing with Scholastic AA and Scholastic A. And that is a function of needing the judges to cycle on and off time. We actually needed an extra panel of judges this year, one more panel than we've ever needed before, just to make the day go. So you'll see there's only 15-minute breaks in there. And so it's like panel A and then panel B and then panel A and then panel B. Whereas if we had the same panel, we'd have to have much longer breaks and not have as many color guards perform. So there's 2 Scholastic Novice champions. There's 2 Scholastic AA champions. There's 2 Scholastic A champions. Ginny, is there anything else that we've been talking about that we missed?
I don't think so. I think it's pretty complete, and certainly the mailing that went out is very complete. And if anybody does have questions, they can certainly ask them. And if you don't have the answer, we'll get them for you.
Thanks. On that note, I encourage everybody, please read your packets. It will answer all of your questions. If it's not in, I'm shocked.
Hi, a quick question for the merchandise. Is there youth sizes? Or is it just adult sizes? Mm.
That one's beyond me. That's a Pepware thing.
Sean
Yeah,
King,
I
do you
don't have
know
that
that
answer.
answer?
Huh?
I'm pretty sure that that is, it's adults only, whatever it was last year. I can look into it and get back to you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
And I guess one final reminder too, we doing, this is in your packet as well, but we do encourage everyone to upload your music through Comp Suite. And the deadline is the Wednesday before the event at 10:59 PM. So what that means is if you upload a change to your music on Friday, there will be no way for anyone to have access. There's been some misfires with that, with some units this season where they've uploaded it after the deadline. We don't get it, the event locks and that's it. There's no way you can access it on your end and listen to the uploaded file, but we will not get it. So once that event locks, that's like that door is shut. So then if you do make a change, that's okay. Just bring your own personal device to play your backup mode. But if you can upload it by that Wednesday at 10:59 PM, that would be awesome. Sounds like that's probably it. We'll hang out for a minute in case anybody thinks of another question or was shy, but thank you guys so much for coming.
Thanks, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.